I have now the builder, which is nice. I don't need to add anything. I have the board tests, and here I want to extract this, but before that I want to run the test, make a commit, and continue with refactoring the tests. Refactored the board will have better names. So here should probably be a field. You want to instantiate it in the setup. So it helped me with this, and change it from everywhere. Great. Now, as you can see, these tests are fairly similar. They're small. I would leave them like that. I prefer these types of tests, even smaller. Some people like to inline this and do something like this. Come on, can do it. So you just say board builder with structure build. So yeah, it's up to you. So this is the initial thing. This is how you could make it. And probably it makes sense in this case to some extent, but what I don't like it is that this is right towards the end, and that's what I care about, not necessarily how I'm building it. So that's why I prefer having like that, and keeping this part as a range, this is act, and this is assert, and having things very clear. Let's run the tests. Refactored tests for board. Okay, so now I have a test. I have a board class that I created. Is it enough? Well, I don't think it's enough, because this is these are tests for a board, and I still need to add some tests that are really important when doing OOP. And they are about how you make some objects equal. So let's start the simpler one, even though it looks weird. Same board instance, or let's say like that, board instance is equal to itself. So if I have a board builder with structure, which is good, with size, which is good as well, with template, which is very good, and I'm building it. Some people like to put this like that to be able to see it. For the reasons of this codecast, I will keep it like that. I have a board, and I like to say that assert equals board with board. Looks weird, but it is the simplest test you can write to make sure things works well, especially if you have randoms or stuff in getters. That could be a problem. So the second test is two board instances with same values are equal. So again, I'm creating a board, first board builder with structure good, with size good size, with template build. Now I'm creating another board. It's the identical, just that the variable name is different. It's second board, and I want to assert equals. First board is equal to the second board. So this isn't equal anymore. What's going on? Well, obviously the board doesn't implement equals. So I would need to implement equals here. Keep all these. Yeah, okay. And my test is green. I also want to have a negative test. So these are positive tests. But here I have a bit of an issue. Let's say two board instances with different values are not equal. As you can see, idea has assert equals, JUnit, but I don't have assert not equal. I have only assert not same. So if we have something like this, but let's say that we just change them, then I won't be able to assert not equals. What I need to do is assert that. And I hope I get the right one. First board, not. So assert that first board not equal to second board. Nope. So let's see, JUnit assert not equals. Yeah, good question. So assert that. object under test, comma, is not something like that. Should be Hemcrest, I hope, and should be Hemcrest. Okay, so I have this test, and this is a negative test. This is enough for now. Edit tests for equality on board. Okay, and now going back to my initial problem, what I can do is I could remove this and start using the board that I just created. So I have a get game result. The thing I'm typically doing, I do something like get game result, and I pass a board. Okay, so I'm creating a new method. I need to reference it. And here I just do board get size, board get structure. Okay. And if I would create from this a new board object, I have the builder, so I'm using it with structure, with size, with template, build. So now if instead I pass the board, I need to use it. Let's run the tests. And something's wrong. So I messed up. Okay, I passed the board structure, board size, board template. So I use this. If board equals board size, so what's wrong with this? Well, it's just a name. Here I'm using this, so I should have board get template, because this is just a wrong name, and this should be board template. So bad names can be confusing. Great. And I had the hint because I saw that I wasn't using the board from the board template from the board object. So this was a hint that something was wrong, clearly. So now if I have this, I could move this to the arrange, and I could extract this to a method that might be called build board. Okay, and I'm just passing it whatever it needs. Let's see if I'm right. Well, it's not really correct because these should be passed as parameters. So let's go back. So this should be extracted as a variable, and this as well. Now these are, let's say, inputs, and only these two. I want to move them on the top. These are inputs, and I want to have them as inputs always to the build board, because that's the, let's say, simplest test. Here board I have the same things, same three things that should be passed, and here I have the same three things that should be passed. So it's clear that these should be as passed as parameters. Let's go back, build board. I extracted, well, I have another build board which can be confusing. Because this isn't really a board. This is, as I called it, board template. Yes. Okay, I was wrong. I shouldn't have renamed the other one. So no, I don't want the other ones. Okay, great. Let's run the tests. Good. Now these are inputs. I have range act assert. I can do the same with the rest of the three tests. So build board template was a bit the same, so I really don't need to do anything else but this. Board 1 by 1 took a vicinity, position and direction, but here it's board 2 by 2. And this is the arrange, and instead of, yeah, and I passed the board. That was a lucky coincidence, I guess, right? And here, what's wrong? So this is my third test. The variable already exists. Yeah, because I renamed it. So yeah, well, I don't need this. I just need to pass the board here. Oh no, that was wrong. So I'm building the board. Okay, here is with 1 by 1, here is with 2 by 2, and here it is again with 2 by 2. So I can do only this there as well. And here I'm passing just the board. Okay, and my tests are green. Now if you look at this result and the result of the last episode, you'll see that the result, there aren't so many differences in between. I'll leave you to it. You can compare the two. I will just make another commit for this episode using board class in the initial tic-tac-toe tests. And just to make sure I don't forget, I'll just do a simple change like this to be able to commit the fact that I'm on so my terminal blocked, I don't know why, but I will commit saying that this is the end of the episode, just to make sure that everyone's clear where we ended, and that's all. So this is another alternative of dealing with TDD as if you meant it, that creating this board class or any class of the sort. As you saw here, we didn't do really that much refactoring. We changed more the code. The changes were bigger in the tests. So if you do this with bigger chunks of code, you might get mistakes and you might get some cases where you're not really sure that you've done the good changes, even though the test will pass, because if you change also the expected and the actual in the same time, you can have false positives. So these are two approaches. Let me know what you think. Let me know which one you prefer. I really look forward to your opinion. So that was all for today. Thank you for watching, and as always, have fun coding.